Those of us who are as old as I am were alive and well and watching television in May of 1989, and what we saw on the television were hundreds of thousands, well, 100,000 or more Chinese university students in Tiananmen Square, the largest public square in the world in China, and they were demanding social, political, and economic change in China. And it appeared that there would be a non-violent revolution, right? On television. The revolution will not be televised. It appeared that the revolution was going to be televised. On June 4, the lights went out. No television coverage, no radio coverage, no news accounts out of China. Why? Because the tanks went right in and killed hundreds of the students, and it was not a non-violent revolution. In fact, it wasn't a revolution, it was dead. Killed off by the totalitarian communist regime in China, which snuffed it out. The original for this statue, here's a photograph of the actual papier-mâché plaster structure, stood 5 meters high, 17 feet high, and there was an aftermath. I have just one photo. There were very few photographs taken afterwards because it's illegal. You cannot even talk about this in China. When I have Chinese guests on this tour, some of them turn away, fearful that they're going to be seen by spies. I mean, I don't think there are spies, but that's how concerned they are that this is still that touchy an issue. It's not on the internet. You can do a research, you can do a Google search in China, and you will not. None of this will come up. It's blocked by the regime, and I find it discouraging that the same group, that is the Chinese community that moved here for whatever reason, and I'm not saying they found all that liberty they want, but that moved here for what they believed was going to be their greater opportunity, have seen fit to, among other things, name a building the Empress of China Roof Garden Restaurant. It's for the tourists, but nevertheless, isn't it disappointing that those who were rejecting the communist regime idealize the imperial court of China, which was no better than for the average Chinese citizen. And I'm not particularly latching on to the Chinese experience, because here's where I want you to recall, if you will, that King George Hotel image as we were crossing the street. That's Anglo-America celebrating an English king. Why would Americans celebrate an English king in the United States and say it's crazy talk? By idealizing the King of England and by suggesting that to somebody who's a tourist, you'll have a better night here than at the youth hostel right next door. The suggestion is not so subtle that there's class divide, right? The inspiration for the goddess of democracy was in fact the Statue of Liberty in New York Harbor. The greatest irony, though, about the Statue of Liberty is that I dare say all Americans are familiar with a poem that's on a plaque inside of the Statue of Liberty at the base that ends with, "Bring me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free." It's a poem written about the Statue of Liberty, and it's talking about immigrants, the very people that Trump is denigrating and objecting to. This is what it's saying. This is the hope of the German people, the Czech people, the French, the English who came to the United States early on hoping for a piece of land. What's ironic is that this poem was written by a woman, Emma Lazarus, who had read Progress and Poverty by Henry George. And at the same time as she wrote that poem that we're all familiar with, she wrote a second poem entitled Progress and Poverty, named after the book he wrote, which was saying, unless there is land equality, there will not be the land of the free.